Welcome to the Restricted Handling Daily Intel Brief. This is what's been going on in China in the past 24 hours. Today, China continues its methodical push to make its maritime and territorial claims feel routine, but we're seeing some new wrinkles and reinforcements worth noting. East of Taiwan, China's Coast Guard has again made headlines. This time, the patrols weren't just a repeat of routine exercises. They were formally announced as law enforcement operations, marking a stronger legalistic framing. Beijing emphasized that these vessels, including the Daishan and Baita cutters, are asserting jurisdiction in waters overlapping with Japan-Philippines maritime talks. This update underlines that China is doubling down on turning political claims into everyday presence, signaling to Tokyo, Manila, and Taipei that it intends to make these waters a normalized part of Chinese control. Taiwan is keeping close watch. As of Tuesday morning, Taiwan's defense ministry noted 7 PLA aircraft sorties into southwestern airspace and several Chinese vessels around the Taiwan Strait. The story here is not just numbers, it's persistence. China is keeping pressure constant, reminding Taipei that territorial claims and operational reach are always on display. Meanwhile, Taiwan is updating its defensive measures. The National Chung-Shan Institute of Science and Technology demonstrated robotic patrol dogs configured for reconnaissance, surveillance, and limited firepower. These are intended for remote island outposts, including Pratas and Itu Aba. What's notable today is the emphasis on Marines and Coast Guard units, reporting pressing need for these systems in both routine monitoring and potential rapid response roles. This represents an evolution of Taiwan's approach to automation, not just a repeat of previous demonstrations. Scarborough Shoal continues to attract attention. New satellite imagery captured late May shows a reflective object near the southern mouth of the lagoon. Analysts note it could be less than 10 meters, and it's unclear if it is fixed or floating. Philippine authorities are investigating, keeping regional eyes trained on a site that has been under de facto Chinese control since 2012. Today's coverage reinforces that this area remains a potential flashpoint if Beijing moves from presence to permanent installation. On the broader maritime front, the Liaoning Carrier Group conducted drills in the Western Pacific east of the Philippines between May 26 and 28. Roughly 170 takeoffs and landings were conducted, and Japanese authorities suggest the purpose is enhancing long-range operational capability. The update here is that the fleet moved southeast toward the Philippine Sea, highlighting the ongoing PLA focus on operational reach in corridors critical to Taiwan and regional allied access. Communication with the U.S. continues, but with nuance. May 28 to 29th, under the Military Maritime Consultative Agreement, PLA and U.S. representatives discussed air and maritime safety. China emphasized risk reduction and professional conduct, but reiterated objections to U.S. freedom of navigation operations, overflights, and reconnaissance. The takeaway for today is that Beijing remains willing to keep channels open, but maintains firm red lines, balancing escalation control with continued pressure. Technology and industrial policy remain central to Beijing's strategy. State Council rules, effective July 1st, give authorities power to review outbound investments affecting national security, halt unauthorized deals, and fine entities up to 1% of a transaction. This builds on moves like the unwinding of Meta's Manus acquisition. Today, the nuance is that these measures explicitly signal Beijing's intent to control technology flows while reinforcing sovereignty claims over Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. China's strategic absorption of foreign IP continues. More than 11,300 German-developed patents are now Chinese-owned, particularly in mechanical engineering. Today's focus is that this pattern is part of a broader long-term strategy. Acquiring foreign technology while constraining domestic exposure, enabling China to accelerate AI, industrial, and defense development. AI deployment in China remains fast-moving. OpenClaw and Alibaba's MuleRun illustrate an ecosystem where agentic AI is being integrated into everyday business and operations. Mid-March data shows roughly 85,000 active OpenClaw instances in China, nearly double U.S. adoption. What's new today is the explicit attention to local government incentives, one-click installations, and interoperability pressures, demonstrating that Beijing is actively shaping adoption, not just letting it happen organically. Economically, Beijing is managing vulnerabilities. Seaborne crude imports may have hit a decade low at roughly 6.8 million barrels per day, with refiners drawing on stockpiles built from Russian and Iranian oil. The nuance today is the focus on negative refining margins and weak domestic demand, highlighting that China's energy strategy is as much about financial management as strategic resilience. China's partnership with Iran continues to be transactional. Beijing purchases sanctioned Iranian oil and, along with Russia, supports Tehran in ways that avoid binding military commitments. Today's takeaway is the growing reliance on Eurasian connectivity, trade routes, and rail logistics as the mechanism for influence, less about boots on the ground, more about long-term strategic leverage. Finally, China's nuclear posture evolves. The Hami silo field expansion in Xinjiang, with its hardened launch pads and octagonal command hubs, is aimed at strengthening survivability and second strike capability. Today's nuance. Reporting emphasizes the integration with desert infrastructure, mobile ICBMs, and exercise routines demonstrating operational readiness. The broader picture remains clear. China is ensuring any Taiwan crisis occurs with a secure nuclear deterrent in place, shaping U.S. and allied risk calculations. Taken together, these developments show Beijing is advancing a coordinated strategy: legalistic maritime assertion, automation in Taiwan defense, operational PLA reach, AI deployment at scale, economic insulation, strategic energy management, transactional foreign partnerships, and nuclear modernization. Each element reinforces the others, presenting a China that is patient, persistent, and positioning itself to act with flexibility and resilience across multiple domains. Thanks for listening. If this was useful, a quick review or comment helps others find the show. For deeper coverage, check out our daily intel brief on Substack at restrictedhandling.substack.com. Have a great day.